Hey guys, let's get it. Go to darkhorsewatcher.com and you will be forwarded directly to my YouTube where you can like and subscribe. That is darkhorsewatcher.com. It's your boy Blackrue back with another video. Today we're going to be talking Proton. And very interested in Proton. There's some things that I think you guys need to see about that, so we're going to get into that a little bit later. And catch me every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Benzinga YouTube channel. If you guys aren't familiar with Benzinga, Benzinga is like one of the top stock news channels out there. They provide news and information and data to TD Ameritrade, WeBull, countless number of others. Benzinga's pretty big time. Yeah, so catch me every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Benzinga channel for the Ruell Report, where we go over stock and crypto. So let's get into Proton, but one other thing. I have a giveaway going on. Basically, you just have to be a subscriber, so like and subscribe. Also, you have to give me a code, which will be placed in the video. In order to enter the contest, it's basically a giveaway of 10 BUSD. In order to enter the contest, just follow the description and you will see the contest and the week that it's going to be announced on. So just click on that link and you can submit to the contest. So yeah, so you'll just have to like and subscribe. Um, Give me your BUSD address so I can send you the $10 BUSD if you win. And you have to put the code, which will be in this video, and it'll be announced on the next Ruel report, which will be on the 18th of October. So yeah, that's that. So let's get into Proton, shall we? Do 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 do. Okay, so Proton chain. So they're not only just like a payment blockchain, they're like an actual blockchain. So they plan on actually doing some DeFi things, having an exchange. Like they're pretty big time. But if we go down here, they have a frequently asked questions, which is really nice on their site. So, what is the origin of Proton? Proton is a joint effort by two companies, Metal and Lynx. Both companies share a vision of making crypto more accessible to everyday consumers, and both have independently made significant project progress towards that goal. Metal has built a compliant, consumer-friendly platform for peer-to-peer payments. Lynx has developed an app-focused blockchain. Proton combines elements of both efforts into a single offering. So, you're combining the peer-to-peer payments of Metal and an app-focused blockchain into each other to get Proton. Together, we're a technical team of entrepreneurs that rapidly turn ideas into working products ready for real-world application. Awesome. So, what problems are Proton trying to solve? Proton is trying to improve and streamline the verification and speed at which payments are processed, either between banks or merchants. Currently, for traditional payments, users aren't asked for consent before a payment is processed, unless going over a comfortable limit from the credit card processor. Blah 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 blah. Previously, there wasn't a way to push or pull funds in real time. Proton solves this problem by integrating identity verification. But beyond being an app platform for the identity model, okay, so this this is a lot of rhetoric, and I'd rather the founder just explain it to you, because he has a really like clean and simple or he has a really clean and simple way of explaining it, and we're gonna watch it in like 1.5 time, so it's fast. And this is courtesy of Girl Gone Crypto. So who we're gonna be listening to is, let me see if we can get the team here. Okay, where is it? Okay, whatever. We're gonna be listening to Marshall Thayer, I think it is. He's the CEO of Metal, and like we've already seen, their combination of Metal and Links. But he's gonna tell us exactly what Proton does and what like kind of sets them apart. So let me find that right here. Okay, let me make it big. And actually, one thing I gotta change to a different source so you guys can hear it. Okay, here we go.
To share that data. So done are the days of plastic credit cards. Done are the days of typing your SSN into everything. And done are the days of, hey, I want to rent this scooter. I got to take a snap of my driver's license. I don't want to snap my driver's license for that. I just want to type at Marshall and have a qualified licensed money service business who I trust, a brand I trust, like Metal or like Apple, and hit approve. And that's it, right?
Now, is that where Proton comes in? Maybe you can kind of help explain the difference of what Proton is versus Metal and how they co-interact, and which component of that is going to be used to enable some of this type of like data storage and or sharing and things like that.
Yes. So the concept, so Proton is really cool, and you can check it out on protonchain.com. And what we're building with Proton is what I call a push-based methodology versus a pull-based. So pull is like you give me your card number, you give me the expiration date and that little code on the back, and maybe I need your zip code too. And I can literally pull as much money out of it as I want as the merchant, right? That's scary. So you're just relying on that, like it would sort of be like me giving you the keys to my house and saying, like, go upstairs in my safe and take the money out. And I tell everybody to do that. And then one day I come back and everything in my house is missing, including the safe. And I go, which one of you 1,000 people that I made this key copy for? That's why we don't like hand out key copies to our house, right? So Proton is a push-based methodology, which is really cool, which is, we should not be sharing data in such a public format. We should not be sharing bank account numbers. We should not be sharing social security numbers for these dinosaur methodologies, for the old system, for the old way of doing business that in 1960 we never thought with the Social Security Administration that there's some way your SSN is going to end up in Russia or in some other part of the world. That we never really thought that. So with the push-based methodology, what Proton allows you to do is you store your data with the people you trust. So if you trust Metal, you store it with us, and that's why we have licenses like our money service business and money transmission license and FinCEN licensing. That's why we go through this relatively rigorous, onerous license process, because they do background checks on us, and I have to get a full palm print and prove that I'm not a criminal as the CEO and things like that. That's really important, right? And then the next part of it is, we shouldn't be sharing this data. So, I think in 2020, the way things work are we choose brands. I like Metal, I like Apple, I like MasterCard, I like Nike. Those are my, these are my brands, right? And I'm gonna trust them with my fashion, with my bank account, and that's the way that it works, right? And so why are we going to go around and give up all of our data? So the push-based methodology, instead of saying like, once I give, the merchant my card number, they can charge as much as they want, but I'm only buying a cup of coffee for, in San Francisco, I don't know, probably like $10 or something, right? But like, exactly, rip off. But anyways, I'm going to give them my credit card and hope they only charge me for this overpriced coffee for $10, right? Okay. But what if they charge me $1,000? What if my card got compromised? Now it's a huge pain in the ass. I have to call the credit card company. I have to get a new card. It has to come in the mail. It's really like a big pain in the ass. And so that's very difficult, and we don't like that. What's really interesting about the push based methodology is that instead of giving somebody the keys to the castle, instead it should be a one off, right? It should be like I see that request come in for the coffee, and I say, okay, cool, you have permission for that overpriced $10 cup of coffee, right? And if I want to hit always allow or allow up to a certain amount, I can do that. So I start to build a rapport with the merchants and the bank partners and other providers that I want. Now, the same concept that can be done with fiat funds can now be done with identity as well. So instead of me putting my driver's license into the scooter app or whatever, now I'm basically just typing at Marshall, and the same way it requests money from me, it can request identity. So it can say, is this the correct identity for you? And when I say yes, I'm signing it and I'm sending a signed message on chain. So that's the really cool, basically breakthrough with Proton that is completely different. So now when I go to checkout, I don't know if you use Apple Pay, like on checking out on web, it's really cool. You hit it, and what happens? A little pop-up slides up. It's got your shipping address, got your billing address, got your card. Time to sign up and enter all that information versus time to double tap my little button and Face ID or Touch ID. It's not even a question, right? And the other cool thing that Apple does there is it's very cool what they're doing, but it's really a band-aid to the solution. They're creating what you call virtual credit card for exactly the amount of the transaction. And if that card gets compromised, it never had more than that dollar amount. But instead of overburdening Visa and MasterCard with like a million virtual credit cards and all this stuff, why don't we just have one source of truth and you can just have one identity, right? So when I'm making a payment or when I'm authenticating, if I go get like a loan for a car or something, I don't want to fill out a bunch of paperwork. I just want to say I'm at Marshall, and then it pops on my phone, and I go done, and I don't fill out all this paperwork and all this crazy stuff. And besides, why do I want my SSN sitting on this piece of paper in some office that's not a bank, right?
Okay, so I think he broke that down really simply, and I'm gonna break down his breakdown. So basically, what he's saying is, all right, if I give my credit card to somebody, like say you're like, I don't know, Kanye West, and you're going on, you're going into like a restaurant, and you like, you spend a lot, you're known, people know who you are. Why should you have to go into a restaurant and give them your credit card, which they could possibly copy down and use and like spend all of this money on it? Because when you're giving them your credit card, you're basically trusting them that they're not going to compromise your information and they're going to only charge you what you spent on that bill or whatever. Saying he's at a restaurant and he bought dinner with like Jay-Z or whatever, doesn't matter. Um, and it's $1,000. You're trusting them to only charge that $1,000. You're also trusting them not to write down your information and just go bananas and like spend $1 million and like you gotta now cancel your card. You gotta now say that was unauthorized use. You gotta go through all these different hoops because someone else decided to break your trust there. So what he's saying is essentially, okay, let let Metal be the one source of information. Now, if you guys are programmers, you would recognize this as like a singleton class. And what a singleton class is like, okay, it's the one true source of information. You don't have all these copies sitting around. You have to go to that singleton class to get the information, and it's the only place that has the information. So now they're saying, okay, instead of having this card where you have to go give it out to people and trust them, Metal or Proton in this case will be your only source of information. So they will build all these bonds and all of these trusts with all these different organizations. So now when you go into shop, all you have to do is say at Marshall, or in my case, at Ruell, or at, Blackrue, whatever I say that my identity is. That identity has been verified on Metal's end. So Metal is the person or in this case, Proton. You can think of Proton and Metal synonymously, even though it's a kind of a separate company, but they're together with this. So Proton would say, okay, he's been verified. He's been he's been verified. He has this amount of money. Now, when the company asks for it, so say I went to Starbucks, like he said, and got a $10 coffee. Starbucks would just then say to Metal, okay, we want this $10. We want the $10. And Metal would say, okay, he has $10. Here you go, take it. But now there's no plastic card in between. Now there's no one having the opportunity to take your trust and take your card and like compromise it. Now It's just the organization asking, okay, does he have $10? Give me the $10. And Metal's already done all the stuff that they need to do to know who you are, and they just say, okay, he has $10. Here it is. So now you don't have to worry about your information getting compromised. And this goes into like he was kind of going into it about like buying a car, buying a house. Like now you don't have to fill out all this loan and stuff information, and then have your information over there with them, or like all these different companies. Like what he was saying is like all these different companies you shop with and you choose to shop with, they have your data, they have your information, because you have to copy that information all over again to talk to Nike. You gotta copy that information all over again if you're gonna sign up with Amazon and get an account there. Instead of doing that, one place is holding your data, uh, Proton, and one place is securing it because they have the blockchain to secure it. Okay, so now when anyone asks for it, they have to go ask from Proton, and the only thing that Proton is going to give them is only what they need. So in the case of like maybe a loan place, they might just say, okay, he's already been verified. And that loan place will say, okay, we know your verifier. We trust your verifier. So he's cool. He's verified. Now the only thing the loan place would need to know is, okay, does he have access to, $100,000 because we're going to give him a $50,000 loan? And Proton would say yes, he has access to that. So instead of giving out copies of your data all the time, all you're going to do in this point is now just ask questions back and forth, and only Proton holds your data. Okay, if that makes sense. And this is very it makes very much sense to me as a programmer, because sometimes you don't want to copy data all the way around all the time. You want to have it just have one true source. So now there's just one true, and it makes perfect sense here, because now there are less people who have copies of your data to either sell it or breach your trust with it. Now it's only in one place, if that makes sense. So um, really cool to think of Proton like that. And if we go take a look at their roadmap, they also want to do things like staking, which is already available if you go check out on their on Proton site. They also want to do instant conversion with no gas fees. They want to do like a swap, so they want to do like a DEX, a centralized exchange where they can swap coins back and forth. Um, they also want to have an NFT market, and they want to do liquidity mining, and they want to have loans. So essentially, they kind of want to turn themselves into a bank along with doing these payments, as well as an NFT exchange. So that all makes sense. If you guys are familiar with Telcoin and me going over Telcoin, they also want to turn themselves into a bank. You can essentially almost think about all of these coin exchanges and every coin as its own bank. It just really kind of is. So this is what Proton's going to do. And one thing that makes Proton really cool, other than that really cool concept of having your data only in one place, is that the transaction time is 4,000 transactions per second, which is pretty fast. It's faster than Tron. It's faster than Ethereum. I'm not sure if it's faster than Nano, which is another payment crypto. Um, not sure if it's not faster than Solana, but but what they're saying, and you're having your data in one place, I think that's just centralized to them, and that's why these guys might be trending lately. Because if we go take a look at them, XPR, oh, hold on. these guys are they're rising, but if they're doing all the things that they say they want to do, 2 cents should really be a bargain, even though this is an all-time high. Yeah, so that is Proton, and your code for today will be Proton to the moon. I know I usually have like a little coding screen for you. I forgot to do that, and I'm not gonna do this video, mess up this video. So this is not the code. The code is Proton to the moon. Proton to the moon. All one word. Proton to the moon. Okay? And I'll have this from the rest of my videos, but the code is Proton to the moon. All right, so check out here, and if you guys have feel like you've been provided value here, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. We're looking to be monetized by the end of November. We're almost there. Um, yeah. So if you found value in this research that I've given you guys, please like and subscribe. It's your boy Blackrue. I'm out. Have a nice day, guys. Peace.